Okay, so I've been playing with this Speer 50 grain varmint bullet, trying to figure out the most optimum place for everything to make this thing shoot good. I really want to make it shoot decent. It doesn't need to do what a VMAX does, but I need it to shoot better than 2 inches regularly. So I was having an issue that shells that had cycled automatically through the weapon as intended were growing in overall length. So the bullets are slippery and they were sliding out from where they were seated and they were growing. So I bought this here Lee factory crimp die, and I did a seating depth test with everything crimped exactly to the Lee specifications for this factory crimp die. And so what we had was, this is the overall length that Speer recommends. And what I did also, I'm gonna get a little crazy here, I built this, and this is a bullet ogive comparator. Hornady makes them and they cost like 15 bucks or whatever, but I just figured if I had a sized brass and I cut some grooves in it for my calipers, I could have a comparator. So I measured the overall length of some sacrificial ones, came up with an average, put the comparator on them, and then used the comparator for all of the sizes. And somewhere on a piece of paper I've got written down what that is, but yours will be different because this isn't a Hornady comparator. But suffice it to say that these are exactly 5/1000ths increments on the ogive, not the the lead me-plat of these bullets that's not very consistent. So this is what Speer recommends. This is nobody's recommendation, but it's 5/1000ths up, 5/1000ths up. And this is what Hornady recommends for their flat base Softpoint Speer point bullet. And that's the best group that I got. I went to 05 and I went to 10. 05 actually looks pretty good, and 95 looks pretty good because this is 3 in 1 hole, like it's double grouping, and a little tiny change might really come together and be beautiful. But I selected the smallest group, so this goes bye-bye. These are comparing my VMAX from cold clean bore and then after I fired all those groups. So, same as always, we're sitting right at about 1 inch with the VMAX, so this goes bye-bye. Here is today's test. I selected that load and I have done a primer shootout. And so I have a selection of CCI number 41, new CCI 450s, some about 150,000-year-old CCI 450s, some 40,000-year-old CCI 550s, some new 400s, and some new 550s. So I have done a primer shootout with these primers for your viewing enjoyment. And so this was cold clean bore with the VMAX load that I always get that 0.8 to 1.1 inch group with, which is good. And I started with the new CCI 550s, which is horrific, about a 3-inch group. No idea why. This is the CCI number 41s, and I've yet to put a set of calipers on it. About 1.025. 1.025. Not bad. Not a VMAX by any means, but we're talking about a bullet that costs 9 or 10 cents per slug compared to the VMAX, which costs 26 to 29 cents per slug. So that is excellent. The new CCI 450s shot an excellent group, about 1 inch and a quarter. I can live with that. The old 450s, this has been about what I've been getting with them. So about a, 1.5-inch group with, no matter what I do, it seems to do about that. The old 550 primers, I don't know, maybe a little bit smaller, more comparable to the 450, the old 450. But absolutely not what the new 550 is. This is a small pistol magnum primer. And I've had good luck with it in small, low pressure rifle cartridges as like the 223. So it is very apparent that the new 550 and the old 550 are not the same critter. And then this is the CCI 400, which that's actually a really good looking group. It's long, it's strung out, but vertical stringer, I just feel like I can really work with that. There's 3 in one hole, 1 low flyer, 1 high flyer. If I can just make it choose where it wants to be, I mean, that's even better than the number 41. But the number 41, we got 3 in one hole, 2 in one hole. It feels like a little tweak, and I can get it to choose which hole it's going to go into. So that's next order of operations. I'm going to load up 30 rounds of this load, and I'm going to tweak my charge weight by 1/10 of a grain. So I'm going to go 26.4, 26.5, and 26.6, and I'm going to see which one is the best charge weight. I'm going to shoot 2 groups of 5 with each charge weight, and that's going to be my finished load, 1.025. I mean, shoot, I could live with that right there. But if I can do one simple test and bring that down to that, I'm going to be really, really happy. Alright, so that's how the factory crimp die works. We've got 3 different charge weights, 10 of each. They've all been crimped. They're all at the 2.200 seating depth that I got the best results with. And we are going to mark that information down on this paper so that way I'm happy and I don't get mixed up at a later date. And we're going to go test these out and see if I can't bring that 1.025 or 1.02 down to a little tighter, make me a little happier. So that's that. Okay, once again the jury is out. So these are known loads. These are my VMAX loads. So this was my first group, just to warm the gun up and make sure that something isn't wrong. So I always shoot one group, and if something's really, really odd, then I'll stop and go home, clean the gun, and check it over and try again. So my sighter group is pretty much right in there, right around 1 inch. You can see that's a penny. So not super duper tight, but these are varmint bullets, and they're accurate. So this is my first test group. So second group of the day, pretty good. Third group of the day, not as good. Fourth group, not as good. This group, 2 in the same hole. This group would be really good. I'm going to call that a flyer. I don't know what happened there. It's most likely the load, but it's obviously a very rare occurrence. So we're going to throw that one out as 1 in 10. So we've got 90% group and tight. And this point of impact shift, I'm going to guess, is just parallax for how I mounted the rifle and look down the scope, because the group size is consistent. This one is actually a 4-shot group because I accidentally shot one of these 5 at this target and don't know which one of these holes it is. But we're going to call 26.5 not optimum compared to these anyway. and 26.6. Definitely not optimum. And then, so since everything was kind of spreading out, I wanted to make sure that the gun is still shooting proper. And so one more round of 5 with the VMAX, and that's almost center to center on a penny. So everything is still right. It is just these loads in these conditions. And these conditions are, it is very hot. It's about 11 in the morning and it's already 100 degrees and about 20% humidity. So it's very hot. So that being said, lower end of the spectrum in this heat, I think I might even try a 1/10 of a grain lower, but it seems like splitting hairs because it's not going to be 100 degrees forever. I don't hunt in 100 degrees. It's a very short time of the year that it's 100 degrees, so I might just stick with this. This is a good load, and it obviously opens up as you go up. It's either going to open up or shrink down as you go down, and I'll just see that as the temperature changes and I shoot. And if it starts opening up on the way down as it gets cooler, then I'll go up a 1/10 of a grain and try and match the conditions. So that's all, and that is the end of my Speer 50 grain varmint load development. We've selected a primer, the CCI number 41. We've selected a powder, which is accurate, 2460. We've selected a charge weight, which is 26.4 grains. We've selected a case overall length, which is 2.200 inches. We have decided to crimp them, and I think that absolutely finishes up our load development. Thanks for coming out. Alright, so I've measured the groups and I've made a selection. It was getting considerably hotter as I shot these groups, temperature of the day. However, it was the hottest, and I shot this group with a more than just ambient temperature bore. This was like 110 to 120 degree barrel that I shot this group with. So as much as I'd like to say that I think it's temperature related, these groups opening up from what they shot earlier, I'm gonna have to say that it's just that inconsistent, and it's something I'm gonna have to live with for 9-cent bullets, or it's me that I was getting fatigued. I really paid attention and took my time on this group, but I don't feel like I really took my time and paid any more attention than I did on any other. So I'm pretty much willing to rule out that it was me, because the order I shot was this group, then this group, this group, this group, this group, this group, and this group, and then finally I closed it out with that because I wasn't happy with my second row. So just to make sure that the rifle didn't get too dirty, I literally shot a better group with the VMAX than I did opening the show. So with that being said, I'm going to select 26.4 grains, which is interestingly the exact same charge that I load in these VMAX 50 grain bullets, even though it's a completely different bullet shape and seating depth and everything. I'm going to go ahead and select 26.4, and that's going to be my plinking load. Over and out.